Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Holly, and today I just wanted to share with you two brunch ideas. And the first one will be mini quiche, and you will need a package of 8 mini tart shells, and it's basically like little mini pie shells, and those are in your frozen section at your store. You will need salt and pepper, a 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream, and you will also need 4 eggs. Now for the filling, for the first one I'm using bacon and chives and then Swiss cheese, but you can use whatever kind of cheese you'd like, and you can really use any type of fillings you like, but we're going to do this one. And then you need fresh spinach, just a bowl of it cut up, and then I used 1 clove of garlic minced, and then I just took a shallot, and I didn't use the whole thing. I just chopped some of it up and I chopped it finely. And then you need about a tablespoon of olive oil to cook that in. Now put the tart shells onto a lined baking sheet, and then just poke a few holes on the bottom, and that just helps from it puffing up when you're baking it. But we will put this in the oven on 350, and you're basically blind baking it is what it's called. You're just trying to put a little bit of a crust on it so that way you don't have a soggy crust once you put the eggs in. And you're going to cook that for about 5 minutes. And now while that's cooking in the oven, baking in the oven, take your onions and your garlic and your olive oil and you're going to saute that until it's fragrant. You don't want it to burn, and it doesn't take long at all. Then add your spinach to this, and then once you do that, this is going to cook down pretty quickly because spinach is basically water, so it does shrink a lot. But we don't need a lot for this because we're only using this in 4 of the tart shells. And this is what it should look like once it's cooked. Now add a 1/4 cup of the heavy whipping cream to your eggs, and then once you've done that, add a little bit of salt and pepper to taste, and just add as much or as little as you like to season it. And then you want to whisk the eggs until they're completely mixed really well. Now once you've baked the tart shells for about 5 minutes or so, once it has a bit of a crust on it, start adding your cheese to the bottom of those tart shells. Then in 4 of them, I will add some of the bacon bits, and I just cook the bacon in the oven. I find that's the best and easiest way to do it. Then I just put some chives, and like I said, this is to your liking of how much you would like in it. But make sure you have enough room to put the egg mixture in. And then on the last 4, I put the spinach mixture in. And now you just pour in the eggs, and you want to not fill it all the way to the top. So you need a little bit of room there for the egg just to expand just a tiny bit. Now after I put the egg mixture in, I will add just a little bit of cheese on top, and I feel like that just gives it a little more flavor. Then I will put this in a preheated oven on 350, and I will cook it until the eggs are completely done and the crust is brown. And as far as time wise, it can be anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. It just depends on your oven, and you do not want to overcook it. So I just suggest that you just keep an eye on it and use a toothpick to test it. But these really are delicious mini quiche. Now the second brunch idea I have is a stuffed crescent roll that's shaped like a carrot, and you will need some parsley, and you need that for the tops that would look like a carrot. Then you need some type of filling to fill them. So this is a chicken salad I made, so it's just shredded chicken with chopped onions and celery and some sweet relish and mayonnaise. But you can use anything. If you have egg salad or any type of favorite thing you would like to put in it, that would work. And you need a package of the dough sheet. You don't want the crescent rolls that are already cut, but you want the sheet. Now you will need a pizza cutter, some aluminum foil, some tape, and some form that you can make a cone with. You don't necessarily need that, but just in case. And some scissors and some cardstock. Now, this is what it's going to be that we're making, so that way we can wrap the crescent roll around it, and that will be the form of the carrot. Now take your cardstock and just fold it in half, and make sure you have a crisp line so that way you can see where you're cutting. And just take your scissors and cut that in half. Now you can use the cone or any form that you have, or you can just free form it if you want, and you would just roll it into a cone just like that, and then all you would need to do is tape it on the seams, and then that's what it should look like. Now if you decide you don't want to freeform it yourself and you want to use a cone to have more of a guide, then just take the cone and lay it on top of the cardstock, and then you're just going to roll it, and you're going to want to make sure it's tight enough to form it, but just be careful not to break the cone, so that way you still have something to use to do that. And then once you get to the end, just make sure it's tight, and then just take and put some tape on the seams. And that's all you need to do, and you have the same basic form that I showed you earlier. And then you would just take the cone out, and that would be your form. And now just take a piece of aluminum foil, and we're going to wrap it around the cone. And you don't need to tape this, you just need to wrap it around and put it as tight as you can, and fold the bottom in, and then you're going to tuck the rest of the aluminum foil into the cone, and that is going to be the shape that we're using to make the carrot. Now I ended up with 7 of those cones. I had one off to the side, so I was able to make 7 crescent rolls with this one sheet of dough. Now put something down on your counter so that way you can put the dough on top of it, and then you will take a pizza cutter and cut it into strips, or a knife, and you want to have wide strips. If they're too thin, it just doesn't work as well. So about as wide as I'm cutting is how wide you should cut it to wrap it around that form. Now start wrapping the dough on the very bottom. Now just be careful as you're putting it on the bottom that you don't put it too tight around. You want it tight, but you'll see in the end why I'm saying that. But just wrap it, start wrapping it around, and you're wrapping it on top of each other. You're overlapping it, and you're just going to go in a spiral all the way around till you get to the end. And then once you get to the end, just take the end piece of your dough and just make sure that you attach it and press it down to the back. And when you put this onto your sheet, your cookie sheet, then you want that end facing down. And you're going to continue to do that all the way around, but you do sort of need to have it tight so that way it doesn't fall apart. But I will show you in the end what we're going to do. Now just make sure that seal is on the back. You want the pretty side up. Then put this in an oven on 350 for about anywhere from 8 to 13 minutes till it's golden brown, and you want to make sure they're cooked. Now this is the spot that I'm telling you. You're going to crush it, but you have to be careful because you don't want to break the crescent roll. So it takes a little bit of doing, but it works. It does come out. But I think maybe I had the dough a little too tight, maybe around the end. But once you start kind of prying it out of the form, out of the crescent roll, it will eventually come out. It's just you have to work with it just a little bit. So if anybody has any ideas on what else can be used inside to make the form where it would just come out real easy, please let me know. Comment down below and let me know if you have any ideas for that. But it does work. It just takes a little bit of doing to get it out, and you just have to be careful because it will crack just a little bit. And I think anything you use to put in there to make that form is the dough will crack just a little bit. So just work with it, but I promise you it will come out. Just be careful with it. Now you can start filling the crescent rolls with whatever filling that you have that you're going to use. And if you need to, use a little butter knife or something just to push down lightly that filling that you're using, just so that way you can get into the narrow parts of it. And then you're just going to continue to fill these all the way up, and you're going to do that for each one that you have. And then once you've done that, take little sprigs of the parsley, and all you need to do is just put it into the middle of the stuffing, and that just forms what would look like a carrot top. And I do think these came out really nice. They taste good, and I think this is just a great addition to any kind of a brunch that you can have. And I think especially for springtime, I think these are perfect. And it also goes great with the little mini quiches that were made. And those have, like I said, 2 different flavors, but you can add anything else you want to this. But I think these 2 additions make a good brunch. If you like this video, I ask that you please give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in seeing more videos like it, please click that subscribe button and that notification bell, and that will notify you when I post new videos. And I hope that everyone has a blessed day and a blessed week ahead. Thanks again for watching.